In this layout update of the train room, you will see some cabling, some painting, some programming, being tempted with new toys, and Sven Magnus throws 535 kroner into the bin. Because this layout update became a bit longer than planned, it is now put into two parts, and the next part will come in a couple of weeks. So, and if you haven't subscribed, then subscribe so you won't miss it. So there is a lot of stuff, then let's dig straight into it. So the first project was installing some dwarf signals. They were also lying around for like 4 years, and I finally decided to install them in the depot. So I prepared some base plates and then drilled some hole in the board to install them. And a recurring theme of this layout update is pouring more resin into the lake. So the procedure was that we would always do it as the last thing, so it could cure while until the next time we would meet. Here is the state after 2 layers. And since I had reprinted the platform, then Magnus decided to redo the underground with putting better ballast and making sure the ballast doesn't fall down behind. And we always have that lamp which blinks, and I don't know why, it's supposed not, because it's like a cable. So, and then obviously when you want to install some decoders, the computer thinks it has to update. So then I programmed all the decoder and I installed it under the layout. So we are using the video from the stream, so if you want to see what we are doing in real time, so also the stuff you see here has been streamed. We just edited a little bit down so it's not that long. And we had some issue with the camera until I figured out how to use the wireless camera from the phone to combine it into the stream. And here you see as a result of the dwarf signal.
Halt. Execute ut. Ja. Vorsicht. Fahrt. Hochhalten.
And to get out of under the layout, you have to be quite agile, and yes, it's not very practical. So, as said, it's time to prepare the next part of the resin, and Sven Magnus failed on this one, and I hope you see what he did.
Is that far away from the school? Oh shit, it's hot. Ah, crap. Oh, you waited too long now. Oh my god. I thought it should not do that. Ah, crap.
He just threw out 550.
Oh my god.
So, and then I tried to rescue the rest by making a hole under the bottom. And yeah, we could save like 5%. It's fucking hot. It has hardened all the way down now. That's why you have to follow the instruction to the letter when you do that. No experimentation. So, and then I try to connect the force signal of this before I'm installing. And then it was time to integrate signals into Rockwell so that they would change if when the route is selected. And also it was now possible to turn on and off the light in the lock stall. Yeah. Okay, today we are going to the Model Railroad Fair and we try something new. We are 2 hours before close down on Sunday. Let's see if people don't want to bring their trains home and we get better price. And Sven Magnus and his son Sixten joined, so we went there. Going on a Sunday just before closing helped. It was very, very quiet. It was the usual layouts there. I also saw some interesting stuff we could do. And then we saw our friend Knut, which tried to sell us some more Wisman accessories.
Ja, de har gjort en kjempegod jobb, altså. De har det. Helt klart. Så dere må kjøpe hver deres bil, gutter. Så kan dere dra hjem og begynne å lage noe nytt i veibanene deres.
Vi har ikke så mye veibane.
Nei, det blir det nå.
Also, this is quite interesting because it took twice finished layouts from Noch, and once it was completely repurposed. So very interesting what you can do with. Nej, det er samme sporvidde som N.
Ja. Hva er forskjellen på 100E og 100M?
M er meter og E er 75 centimeter spor. And these guys, they are working on models of the Oslo trams. And after we resupplied on resin, it was time to make the next batch, which is always a lot of steering and so. And we have to follow the procedure to the letter. That's why we have a timer and a thermometer. And then we measured how deep the poured resin was, just to be sure it's not too thick. And when we are done, we always cover it with some aluminium sheet to keep it warm. So the next step was to fix creek going into the lake. So Sven Magnus wanted to prepare it with some stones and also some undercoat to be sure the resin would not leak. And the next thing I wanted to do is also to install more Philips Hue light, especially in the corner above the waterfalls because it's a bit dark. So I had both the bulbs and then we tried to find a lamp where we could fit it in, but it took us a long time to find one. At the end I found some discount on some lamp shop online and we ordered it. At the end it was exactly the same as we already mounted on the 2 other spots, but just in white, and we don't care about the color. So then it was time to start working on the hatch with the waterfall. Sven Magnus is preparing for the pouring of some realistic water and making some dams. And then I'm not too happy with the system to control the lights from Rockwell, so I decided to write my own. So I was programming a little bit. Okay, so if I do on like false. Okay, on like true, turns it on. 65.35 times 1/3. Okay, and if I do 2/3, it's get blue. Perfect. Oops. Transition time er litt for sakte enn vanlige fyr. Okay.
fall through.
Hva er det for noe?
Det er for å kontrollere lys.
And here's some more preparation for the creek and the lowest waterfall. So, and here we are installing some fishes. It's the second swarm, and I 3D printed them, and it was quite difficult because they are very, very, very small. And in the first two batch, I lost like up to 90% of the fishes. I just break away from the support because the support was bigger than the fish. And the force signal didn't work, and I tried to debug it, but I never got it working. It's on the to-do list to fix that. And before pouring more resin into the creek, so I'm going to be sure it would not leak on the top, so we installed some safety in case that would happen.
Så watertime.
Yeah, we put fluorescent water on the code last week. Then we put
We have to figure out where the stream is going. So here we have put wooden scenic water effect. But it didn't become clear like we had hoped for. It was time to pour the next section. And again, follow the procedure. And while the resin warmed, we put some newspaper to be sure it would not end up on the layout, and especially not on the tracks. So then it was time to pour it in the two parts of the creek which are quite flat.
Ja, vi får se.
Factory from Faller. I finally finished constructing, so I had to mount some LED. So I 3D printed some LED mounts and then some soldering of SMD LED. And the kit has plastic lamps without no function, so I added a little LED on it and then used Bondic to create a light bulb. It became quite good. And it was just to mount it in the wall, so I had to drill some holes for the cables to fit there and then solder in the model to fix it. We are going to explain what we are doing. We have to install the new Philips light, and they're going there next to the pipe for the heater. And for that we have to climb up where we haven't been for like 3 or 4 years. Yes. It's still less dangerous than Sven Magnus garage, provisoric garage entrance.
Yeah.
The stair was double as height. Hvor vi ikke står. Du vet, HMS vil ikke bli...
Vil ikke bli fornøyd, eller?
Nei, absolutt ikke. Det vil bli en bilde hvorfor mann lever mindre langt enn damer.
Ja, jeg vet ikke. Det her blir skummelt å komme ned igjen, altså.
Det kommer akkurat samme som du har gjort nå. Eller ingen å dra hjem, og du har en større stil.
Ja, men jeg kan gjøre det sånn. Da går det.
Ja. Ok.
Yes.
Så
Det ser bra ut ovenfra.
Hva?
Det ser bra ut ovenfra.
Ok, bare legg telefonen min der.
Skal vi se, jeg skal ta et bilde av deg mens du kommer opp.
Ok, det er strøm mellom enden og inne i...
Håper de pærene ikke må skiftes alt for ofte.
Nei, det er jo ledd. Vi bruker jo de ikke så ofte. So, and then we finally put on place that security camera I had bought, and yeah, I still need to install it, so to connect it, because we also have to recable the modem to be constantly on. And then I had to wire all the electricity for the U-lights. And then Sven Magnus started to work on the main waterfall, and yes, it's quite a big work, but we got a lot of good feedback on it when it was finished, with some picture we posted on diverse forums. And this is how it looked like under the layout. So we will end the layout update here. The next part will come in a couple of weeks. So if you haven't subscribed, then subscribe so you won't miss it. See you soon again in the train room. Okay, let it be light.
Så det.